Hello car enthusiasts, welcome to our channel. We've prepared a very interesting video for you about the 9 weirdest and worst cars in America from 1953. This video is sure to surprise you, so get comfortable and watch it until the end. Enjoy the show. Dear viewer, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support. Number 9. The 1953 Oldsmobile 98 is an interesting example of early 1950s American automotive design, blending the era's trends with a heavy-handed approach to styling that gives it a unique and somewhat quirky character. Here's a detailed look at why the 1953 Oldsmobile 98 is considered weird or unusual. In the early 1950s, Oldsmobile was positioned as an innovative and mid to upper range brand within General Motors' lineup, known for combining style and performance. The Oldsmobile 98 was the top-tier model, offering the most luxurious and well-equipped features of the brand. The 1953 Oldsmobile 98 was designed during a time when American cars were characterized by flamboyant styling, with elements like tail fins and chrome detailing becoming increasingly exaggerated as the decade progressed. The Oldsmobile 98 had a large, bulky body typical of the era's luxury cars. This design emphasized a wide, imposing stance, giving the car a commanding presence on the road, but also making it look heavy and cumbersome. One of the most noticeable features of the 1953 Oldsmobile 98 was its tail fins. Although not as exaggerated as those found on later models like the 1959 Cadillac, the fins on the 1953 98 were still prominent and a key part of the car's styling. At the time, tail fins were becoming a popular design element, but on the 98, they appeared slightly overdone and not fully integrated into the overall design. The 1953 Oldsmobile 98 featured extensive chrome trim, including on the grille, bumpers, side moldings, and tail fins. This chrome detailing was intended to convey luxury and sophistication, but the sheer amount of chrome used made the car appear overly flashy and somewhat dated, even at the time of its release. Oldsmobile marketed its cars as part of the Rocket line, emphasizing performance and modernity. The 98's design included rocket-inspired elements, like jet-like accents on the side trim, which were intended to evoke a sense of speed and futuristic design, but came across as gimmicky to some. The 1953 Oldsmobile 98 was powered by Oldsmobile's 303 cubic inch, 4.9-liter rocket V8 engine, producing around 165 horsepower. This engine was known for its reliability and strong performance, providing a smooth and powerful ride. Despite the powerful engine, the bulky design of the Oldsmobile 98 made it more of a cruiser than a sporty vehicle. Its heavy weight and large size affected its handling, making it best suited for highway driving rather than tight, agile maneuvers. The 1953 Oldsmobile 98's heavy-handed styling received mixed reviews. Some buyers appreciated the car's luxurious features and powerful engine, while others found its design to be excessive and somewhat outdated compared to more streamlined and modern-looking competitors. The car's bulky design and extensive chrome detailing limited its appeal to a specific segment of buyers who were looking for a statement vehicle. However, its styling made it less attractive to those seeking a more modern or understated luxury car. The Oldsmobile 98's exaggerated tail fins and extensive chrome made it a car that was hard to ignore, but also one that didn't necessarily align with the more refined design trends emerging in the 1950s. Its heavy-handed approach to styling made it stand out, but not always in a positive way. Even though the car was new in 1953, its design elements, like the bulky body and excessive chrome, gave it a somewhat dated appearance. While other manufacturers were beginning to move towards more modern and streamlined designs, the Oldsmobile 98 clung to an older, more ostentatious aesthetic. The rocket styling cues, intended to emphasize modernity and performance, came across as somewhat gimmicky and attributed to the car's unusual and quirky character. Today, the 1953 Oldsmobile 98 is remembered as a classic example of early 1950s American automotive excess. Its combination of advanced engineering with a design that was both bold and somewhat anachronistic makes it a unique and interesting vehicle in the history of American cars. In summary, the 1953 Oldsmobile 98 is considered weird due to its bulky design, exaggerated tail fins, and extensive chrome detailing. These elements, combined with a somewhat dated aesthetic even when new, contribute to its distinctive and unusual place in automotive history. Number 8. The 1953 Hudson Hornet is a fascinating example of early 1950s automotive design and engineering, notable for its unique step-down design and distinctive profile. Hudson Motor Car Company was known for its innovative engineering and forward-thinking designs. The Hornet, introduced in 1951, was one of the company's most successful models and became famous for its dominance in stock car racing. The most notable feature of the Hudson Hornet was its step-down design. Introduced in 1948, this design involved recessing the lawpan between the frame rails, effectively lowering the car's center of gravity. This design gave the Hornet a lower and wider appearance compared to other cars of the era, which contributed to its unique and unconventional profile. The step-down design made the Hornet look lower and wider than its contemporaries. This distinctive profile set it apart from other cars of the early 1950s, which tended to have taller, more upright bodies. The lower stance not only gave the car a sleeker look, but also improved handling and stability. The Hudson Hornet featured a streamlined, aerodynamic shape that was relatively advanced for its time. The car's rounded enders, smooth lines, and integrated headlights contributed to its distinctive and somewhat futuristic appearance. The Hornet's low roofline and wide body, combined with its step-down design, created proportions that were unusual for the time. While many cars of the era had tall, boxy designs, the Hornet's low and wide stance made it look more aggressive and sporty. The 1953 Hudson Hornet was equipped with a high-compression, 308 cubic inch, 5.0-liter inline-six engine, known as the Twin H-Power engine, when fitted with dual carburetors. This engine was one of the most powerful available in an American production car at the time, producing around 170 to 210 horsepower depending on the setup. The Hornet's powerful engine, combined with its low center of gravity and excellent handling, made it a dominant force in stock car racing during the early 1950s. It won numerous NASCAR races and championships, cementing its reputation as a high-performance vehicle. The step-down design contributed to the car's exceptional handling and road-holding abilities. The low center of gravity and wide stance allowed the Hornet to corner more effectively and provided a smoother ride than many of its competitors. The Hudson Hornet's unconventional design and strong performance gave it a unique appeal. It was popular among enthusiasts who appreciated its advanced engineering and racing pedigree, but its distinct appearance was not to everyone's taste. Despite the Hornet's success, Hudson struggled financially in the early 1950s, leading to its merger with Nash Kelvinator to form American Motors Corporation, AMC, in 1954. The 1953 model represents the last of the true Hudsons before the company's identity was absorbed into AMC. The most significant reason the 1953 Hudson Hornet is considered weird is its step-down design. This innovative construction technique was highly unusual for the time, giving the car a lower and wider profile that contrasted sharply with the taller, more traditional designs of its competitors. The Hornet's low roofline, wide body, and aerodynamic shape gave it a unique and unconventional appearance. While other cars of the era were more upright and boxy, the Hornet's sleek design set it apart as something different and ahead of its time. While most high-performance cars of the time were moving toward V8 engines, the Hornet's powerful inline-six engine was another unusual feature that contributed to its success on the racetrack, defying the conventional wisdom of the era. Today, the 1953 Hudson Hornet is remembered as one of the most iconic cars of the early 1950s, known for its innovative design, racing success, and unique styling. Its step-down construction and distinctive profile make it a standout in automotive history, representing a bold and unconventional approach to car design and engineering. In summary, the 1953 Hudson Hornet is considered weird due to its step-down design, which gave it a lower and wider profile than other cars of its time, combined with its powerful inline-six engine and racing pedigree. This combination of innovative engineering and distinctive styling makes it a unique and memorable vehicle. Number 7. The 1953 Lincoln Capri is an interesting example of American automotive design from the early 1950s, notable for its unusual styling and imposing presence. Lincoln, as Ford's luxury division, aimed to compete with Cadillac and other high-end brands. The Capri was introduced as a top-of-the-line model, positioned to offer luxury, performance, and advanced features. By the early 1950s, American car design was transitioning from the rounded, bulbous shapes of the late 1940s to more streamlined and curvier styles. The Lincoln Capri, however, retained a more squared-off and traditional look, which made it stand out. The 1953 Lincoln Capri featured a large, squared-off body that contrasted with the curvier, more aerodynamic designs that were becoming popular during this period. This boxy design gave the car an imposing and somewhat old-fashioned appearance. The Capri was adorned with extensive chrome detailing, including a massive front grille, side trim, and bumper accents. While chrome was a common feature on 1950s American cars, the amount used on the Capri was particularly heavy, contributing to its bulky and flashy look. The Capri was a large and heavy vehicle, with a wide stance and significant road presence. Its size, combined with its squared-off design, made it look more imposing and substantial compared to its sleeker, more modern counterparts. Despite some luxury touches, the overall design of the 1953 Capri was somewhat conservative, lacking the more daring and futuristic elements that were starting to appear in other cars of the era. This conservative approach made the Capri look a bit out of step with emerging trends. The 1953 Lincoln Capri was powered by a 317 cubic inch, 5.2-liter V8 engine, producing around 205 horsepower. This engine provided strong performance for the time, making the Capri a capable highway cruiser. The Capri was known for its smooth ride and comfortable handling, thanks in part to its heavy build and well-engineered suspension. However, its size and weight made it less agile than some of its competitors. The Capri included several advanced features for its time, such as power steering, power brakes, and an automatic transmission. These features were aimed at enhancing the luxury experience, although they were not unique to the Capri. The Lincoln Capri's squared-off design and heavy use of chrome received mixed reviews. Some buyers appreciated its imposing presence and luxurious features, while others found its styling to be out of place and less attractive compared to more modern designs. Despite its unusual styling, the Lincoln Capri was a successful race car in the early 1950s, winning several NASCAR races. Its powerful V8 engine and durable construction made it a formidable competitor on the track, which added to its unique character. The Capri's design was more reminiscent of the late 1940s than the streamlined and curvier styles emerging in the early 1950s. Its squared-off, boxy look made it seem somewhat out of place and gave it a more dated appearance. The extensive use of chrome on the Capri was intended to convey luxury, but it also contributed to its bulky and flashy appearance, which contrasted with the more restrained and elegant use of chrome on other contemporary luxury cars. The large and imposing size of the Capri, combined with its conservative styling, gave it a distinctive and somewhat intimidating road presence, making it stand out in an era that was beginning to favor more streamlined and modern designs. Today, the 1953 Lincoln Capri is remembered as an interesting example of early 1950s luxury car design. Its unique combination of advanced features, powerful performance, and conservative styling makes it a distinctive vehicle in automotive history. In summary, the 1953 Lincoln Capri is considered weird due to its bulky, squared-off design, heavy use of chrome, and imposing size. These elements, combined with a conservative approach to styling, made it stand out in an era that was beginning to favor more modern and streamlined designs. Number 6. The 1953 Henry J. Corsair is an intriguing example of early 1950s automotive design, notable for its minimalist approach and utilitarian nature. The Henry J was produced by the Kaiser Frazer Corporation, an independent American automaker. The car was named after the company's chairman, Henry J. Kaiser, and was intended to be an affordable, no-frills economy car. In the post-World War II era, there was a demand for smaller, more economical vehicles. The Henry J was designed to meet this demand by offering a simple and affordable car for budget-conscious consumers. The Henry J Corsair was much smaller than most American cars of the time, which were typically large and luxurious. Its compact design made it stand out in an era when bigger was better. The Corsair featured very little in the way of decorative trim or chrome, which was unusual for a 1950s car. This minimalist approach was intended to keep costs down, but made the car look sparse and somewhat plain compared to its more elaborately styled contemporaries. One of the most unusual aspects of the Henry J Corsair was its lack of basic amenities. For instance, early models did not have a trunk lid. Instead, the only way to access the trunk was by folding down the rear seats. This cost-cutting measure was intended to keep the car affordable, but was seen as impractical by many buyers. The interior of the Henry J Corsair was also very basic, with few frills or luxury features. The seats and dashboard were simple and utilitarian, reflecting the car's focus on economy over comfort. The 1953 Henry J Corsair was powered by a small inline-4 engine, with an optional inline-6 available. These engines provided adequate performance for a car of its size, but they were not particularly powerful or fast. The car's lightweight and small engine were intended to deliver good fuel economy, which was one of its main selling points. However, this focus on economy also meant that the Corsair was not as robust or refined as more expensive cars. The Corsair's suspension and handling were basic but adequate for a car of its class. It was designed for simple, everyday transportation, rather than performance or luxury driving. The Henry J Corsair's minimalist design and lack of amenities were polarizing. While some buyers appreciated its low price and economical operation, others found it too basic and lacking in the comfort and style expected of even an economy car in the 1950s. The Henry J was only produced from 1950 to 1954, with the Corsair being a part of the lineup in the latter years. The car's limited appeal and the financial struggles of Kaiser Frazer contributed to its relatively short production run. The Henry J. Corsair's focus on economy and minimalism was unusual for the time, when most American cars were becoming more luxurious and feature-rich. The car's bare-bones approach, including the lack of a trunk lid, made it stand out as a strange and unconventional vehicle. In an era dominated by large, flashy cars, the Henry J's small, compact size was a stark contrast. Its proportions and styling made it look out of place among the bigger, more opulent vehicles of the early 1950s. The lack of decorative trim and chrome gave the Corsair a utilitarian appearance that was at odds with the more ornate and stylish designs of the time. This minimalist approach made the car seem almost unfinished or underdeveloped by contemporary standards. Today, the 1953 Henry J. Corsair is remembered as a quirky and unusual vehicle that took a different approach to car design and marketing. Its focus on economy and simplicity makes it an interesting footnote in automotive history, representing an alternative to the more luxurious and feature-laden cars of the era. In summary, the 1953 Henry J. Corsair is considered weird due to its compact, utilitarian design, minimal ornamentation, and lack of basic amenities like a trunk lid. These features, combined with its focus on economy, made it an unconventional and somewhat impractical car for the time. Number 5. The 1953 DeSoto Firedome is a noteworthy example of mid-century American car design, marked by its unusual blend of styling elements. DeSoto was a mid-level brand within the Chrysler Corporation, positioned between the entry-level Dodge and the more luxurious Chrysler models. The Firedome was introduced as a new model in 1952, equipped with DeSoto's first V8 engine. During the early 1950s, car design was transitioning from the rounded, bulbous shapes of the late 1940s to more angular, futuristic styles. The DeSoto Firedome attempted to blend these design trends, resulting in a mix of old and new elements. One of the most distinctive features of the 1953 DeSoto Firedome was its grille, which had a rounded, almost bug-eyed appearance. This grille design, combined with the car's wide-set headlights, gave the front end an odd and somewhat quirky look. The Firedome's design was a mix of rounded and angular elements. The car had a generally rounded body shape, reminiscent of late 1940s designs, but also incorporated sharper, more angular details, such as its rear fenders and chrome trim. This mix of design cues made the Firedome look neither fully modern nor entirely traditional. Like many cars of the era, the DeSoto Firedome featured extensive chrome detailing. However, the way the chrome was applied, particularly around the grille and side trim, contributed to the car's unusual appearance. The rear of the Firedome also had a unique design, with rounded tail lights set into angular rear fenders. This contrast between the rounded lights and angular bodywork added to the car's eclectic styling. The 1953 DeSoto Firedome was equipped with a 276 cubic inch, 4.5-liter Hemi V8 engine, which was a significant selling point. This engine produced around 160 horsepower, providing the Firedome with strong performance for its class. The Firedome was known for its smooth ride, thanks to its well-engineered suspension and solid construction. It was designed to offer a comfortable driving experience, which was an important factor for mid-century American consumers. The Firedome featured DeSoto's tip-toe shift automatic transmission, which was marketed as a convenience feature. This transmission, combined with the powerful V8 engine, made the Firedome an easy and enjoyable car to drive. The DeSoto Firedome's unusual mix of design elements resulted in a polarizing look. Some buyers appreciated its distinctive appearance and advanced engineering, while others found the design odd and not as cohesive as other cars of the time. The Firedome was positioned as a more premium offering within the DeSoto lineup, but its unconventional styling may have limited its appeal compared to more traditionally styled competitors. DeSoto struggled throughout the 1950s, and despite the Firedome's innovations, the brand was eventually discontinued in 1961. The Firedome represents an interesting chapter in DeSoto's history, showcasing the brand's attempt to balance traditional and modern design elements. The 1953 DeSoto Firedome's combination of rounded and angular design elements created a look that was neither fully modern nor entirely traditional. This eclectic mix made the car stand out as somewhat odd and hard to categorize. The bug-eyed grille and wide-set headlights gave the front end of the Firedome a distinctive and unconventional appearance. This design choice was bold, but not universally admired, contributing to the car's quirky character. The contrast between the car's rounded bodywork and angular details added to its unconventional appearance. This mix of design cues made the Firedome look somewhat disjointed, as if it was caught between two different design eras. Today, the 1953 DeSoto Firedome is remembered as a unique and quirky vehicle that tried to blend different design trends of the early 1950s. Its unusual styling, combined with its advanced engineering, makes it a distinctive and memorable car in automotive history. In summary, the 1953 DeSoto Firedome is considered weird due to its odd mix of rounded and angular design elements, its unusual grille and headlight arrangement, and the eclectic styling that set it apart from other cars of its time. Number 4. The 1953 Kaiser Dragon is a fascinating example of mid-century automotive design, particularly for its bold and unconventional styling choices. Kaiser Frazer was an independent American car manufacturer known for its innovative but sometimes unconventional designs. The Kaiser Dragon was introduced as a luxury version of the Kaiser Manhattan, positioned as a high-end, limited production model. The early 1950s saw a growing market for luxury cars, with consumers increasingly interested in unique features and styling that set their cars apart. The Kaiser Dragon was designed to appeal to this niche, but its execution was quite unconventional. The most striking feature of the 1953 Kaiser Dragon was its bamboo vinyl roof. This material was designed to mimic the appearance of bamboo, giving the car an exotic and unusual look. The vinyl roof was a bold design choice that made the Dragon stand out, but it was also considered odd and out of place for a luxury car. The interior of the Kaiser Dragon also featured bamboo vinyl trim, creating a cohesive, though unusual design theme. The dashboard, door panels, and seats were adorned with this bamboo-like material, reinforcing the car's exotic motif. The Dragon featured extensive chrome accents and a two-tone paint scheme that added to its visual impact. The car's overall design was a mix of luxury and flamboyance, with a focus on making a bold statement. The Kaiser Dragon was produced in very limited numbers, making it a rare and collectible vehicle today. Its unique design features and limited availability have contributed to its mystique and collectability. The 1953 Kaiser Dragon was powered by a 226 cubic inch, 3.7-liter inline-six engine, which produced around 118 horsepower. While not particularly powerful, the engine provided adequate performance for a luxury car of its time. The Dragon was designed to offer a comfortable and smooth ride with a well-tuned suspension and a focus on luxury over performance. The car was equipped with a Hydra-Matic automatic transmission, which was a desirable feature in the early 1950s. The Dragon's emphasis on comfort and luxury was evident in its interior features, which included plush seats, ample cabin space, and a range of convenience features for the era. The Kaiser Dragon's exotic design and unusual materials received mixed reactions from the public and critics. Some admired its boldness and uniqueness, while others found the bamboo-themed design gimmicky and out of place in a luxury car. The Dragon was aimed at a very specific market segment, and its unconventional design limited its broad appeal. As a result, it sold in small numbers, contributing to its rarity today. Today, the 1953 Kaiser Dragon is considered a rare and collectible car, appreciated for its distinctive design and the story behind its creation. Its uniqueness and limited production make it a sought-after vehicle among collectors. The use of bamboo mimicking vinyl on both the roof and interior was an unusual and exotic design choice that was not commonly seen in the automotive world. This feature made the car stand out, but also contributed to its oddness. The combination of the bamboo theme, extensive chrome, and two-tone paint gave the Dragon a flamboyant and almost over-the-top appearance. This styling was bold, but not universally appealing, adding to the car's quirky character. The Dragon's focus on niche luxury, with its unconventional design and limited production, set it apart from other luxury cars of the time. This niche appeal made it both unique and somewhat strange in the broader context of 1950s automotive design. The 1953 Kaiser Dragon remains a fascinating example of how automotive design can push the boundaries of conventional taste. Its exotic and unusual features make it a memorable and distinctive vehicle in the history of American cars. In summary, the 1953 Kaiser Dragon is considered weird due to its unique bamboo vinyl roof and interior trim, its flamboyant styling, and its niche appeal. These elements combined to create a car that stood out, but not always for the right reasons. Number 3. The 1953 Cadillac Series 62 is an iconic luxury car from the early 1950s, known for its extravagant styling and distinctive design features. Cadillac was General Motors' flagship luxury brand, known for its high-end vehicles that symbolized status and success. The Series 62 was one of Cadillac's most popular models, offering luxury and advanced features. The early 1950s were a time of economic prosperity in the United States, leading to increased consumer demand for luxury goods, including cars. Cadillac capitalized on this trend with vehicles that emphasized opulence and style. One of the most striking features of the 1953 Cadillac Series 62 was its extensive use of chrome trim. Chrome accents adorned the grille, bumpers, side moldings, and window frames, giving the car a flashy and opulent appearance. While this was typical of the era, the sheer amount of chrome on the Series 62 was seen by some as excessive and gaudy. The 1953 Series 62 featured a wraparound windshield, a design innovation that became a hallmark of 1950s automotive styling. This curved glass gave the car a futuristic look, but also created an unusual visual effect, especially from the driver's perspective. The design was innovative, but could be seen as slightly odd or impractical by some drivers. The Series 62 was a large, heavy car with a long wheelbase and substantial presence on the road. Its size and bulk added to its imposing appearance, but also made it less nimble and more difficult to maneuver compared to smaller cars. Although relatively modest compared to later Cadillac models, the 1953 Series 62 featured tail fins, which were a distinctive design element of Cadillac cars during this era. These fins would grow larger and more renounced in later years, but in 1953, they were still a unique and somewhat quirky feature. The 1953 Cadillac Series 62 was equipped with a 331 cubic inch, 5.4-liter V8 engine, which produced around 210 horsepower. This engine provided strong performance for a luxury car, making the Series 62 both powerful and smooth on the road. The Series 62 came with a Hydra-Matic automatic transmission, which was a desirable feature in the luxury car market. This transmission added to the car's ease of use and comfort, further enhancing its appeal to luxury buyers. The Series 62 was known for its smooth and comfortable ride, thanks to its well-engineered suspension and robust construction. Cadillac's focus on luxury and refinement was evident in the car's ride quality and overall driving experience. The Cadillac Series 62 was well received by consumers who appreciated its luxurious features, powerful engine, and stylish design. It became a status symbol, representing success and affluence. While many admired the Series 62 for its advanced features and stylish appearance, others found its excessive chrome and wraparound windshield to be too extravagant. The car's bold design choices made it stand out, but also made it a bit polarizing. The 1953 Series 62 set the stage for Cadillac's design evolution in the 1950s, with its wraparound windshield and chrome accents becoming even more pronounced in later models. It was a trendsetter, but its over-the-top design elements were a precursor to even more flamboyant styles that would define Cadillac in the late 1950s. The excessive use of chrome and the distinctive wraparound windshield gave the Cadillac Series 62 a look that was both luxurious and slightly ostentatious. These design elements were bold and eye-catching, but could also be seen as a bit overdone, making the car appear extravagant and even a little strange. The wraparound windshield, while innovative, had its drawbacks in terms of visibility and practicality. This feature, combined with the car's large size and heavy body, contributed to its unusual and somewhat quirky character. The 1953 Series 62 reflected a time when American car design was moving toward more flamboyant and futuristic styles. Its combination of traditional luxury with forward-looking design cues made it a car that was both ahead of its time and rooted in the past, contributing to its unique and slightly odd status. Number 2. The 1953 Mercury Custom is an interesting example of automotive design from the early 1950s, known for its unusual mix of styling elements. Mercury was positioned as a mid-level brand within the Ford Motor Company, aimed at customers looking for something more upscale than a Ford, but not as luxurious as a Lincoln. The Mercury Custom was one of the brand's key models during this time. The early 1950s were a transitional period in automotive design, with manufacturers experimenting with new styles while still retaining some conservative elements from the 1940s. The Mercury Custom reflects this tension between old and new design trends. The 1953 Mercury Custom had a front end that seemed mismatched with the rest of the car's design. The grille and headlights had a somewhat conservative, even dated appearance, while the rest of the body featured more modern and flashy elements, such as chrome accents and curved fenders. This lack of cohesion in design made the car look like it was pieced together from different vehicles. The front end of the Custom had a relatively simple and restrained design, with a horizontal grille and round headlights. This was in contrast to the trend toward more elaborate and futuristic front-end designs seen in other cars of the time, making the Mercury Custom's front appear somewhat out of place. In contrast to the conservative front, the rear and sides of the Mercury Custom featured more dramatic styling, with pronounced fender lines, chrome trim, and a sleek, rounded rear. This contrast between the conservative front and the flashier sides and rear contributed to the car's odd and disjointed appearance. The Custom often featured two-tone paint schemes and extensive chrome accents, which were popular in the 1950s. While these elements added to the car's visual appeal, they also heightened the contrast between the different design elements, further emphasizing the car's lack of cohesive styling. The 1953 Mercury Custom was powered by a 255 cubic inch, 4.2-liter flathead V8 engine, which produced around 125 horsepower. This engine provided decent performance for a mid-range car and was one of the key selling points of the Mercury brand. The Mercury Custom was designed with comfort in mind, featuring a spacious interior and a suspension tuned for a smooth ride. This focus on comfort was typical for mid-century American cars, especially those aimed at family buyers. The Custom was available with an optional Merco-Matic automatic transmission, which was becoming increasingly popular in the early 1950s. This feature added to the car's appeal, but did not compensate for its unusual styling. The Mercury Custom's styling received mixed reactions from consumers and critics. While some appreciated its modern touches and chrome detailing, others found the design to be disjointed and lacking in cohesion. The car's mismatched appearance likely contributed to its limited appeal in the marketplace. As a mid-level car, the Mercury Custom was neither as basic as entry-level models nor as luxurious as higher-end vehicles. This middle-of-the-road positioning, combined with its unusual design, made it less memorable compared to more distinctive or well-integrated designs of the era. The Mercury Custom's design quirks were not carried forward into later models, which adopted more cohesive and modern styling. The car remains a curious example of mid-century design experimentation. The 1953 Mercury Custom's odd mix of conservative and flashy design elements, particularly the conservative front end paired with a more modern rear, made the car look like it was cobbled together from different vehicles. This lack of design cohesion gave the car an unusual and somewhat awkward appearance. At a time when other manufacturers were moving toward more futuristic and integrated designs, the Mercury Custom's disjointed styling made it seem out of sync with the trends of the early 1950s. This contributed to its reputation as an odd and somewhat forgettable car. The Mercury Custom didn't make a significant impact in the market, and its styling was not well remembered or influential. Its weirdness lies in its failure to fully commit to either a conservative or a modern design, resulting in a car that was neither here nor there. Number 1. The 1953 Mercury Monterey convertible is a notable example of 1950s automotive design, recognized for its unusual and somewhat awkward appearance. The Mercury brand was positioned between Ford and Lincoln, targeting consumers who wanted something more upscale than a Ford, but less luxurious than a Lincoln. The Monterey was Mercury's top-of-the-line model, offering more features and styling flair than the lower-tier models. The early 1950s were a period of transition in automotive design, with manufacturers experimenting with new shapes and styles as they moved away from the boxy designs of the 1940s. The Mercury Monterey convertible was part of this shift, but its design choices made it stand out in a strange way. The 1953 Mercury Monterey convertible had a bulky and heavy appearance, with a long, wide body that gave it an imposing presence on the road. This heft was accentuated by the car's high beltline and large fenders, which made it look even more massive. The Monterey convertible featured a significant amount of chrome trim, including a wide grille, thick side moldings, and chrome accents on the bumpers and around the windows. While chrome was a popular design element in the 1950s, the Monterey's use of it was seen as overdone, contributing to its flashy but somewhat gaudy appearance. Like many cars of its era, the 1953 Monterey convertible had a wraparound windshield. This feature was intended to give the car a modern and futuristic look, but on the bulky Monterey, it created an unusual visual effect, making the front of the car appear even wider and more expansive. The Monterey convertible had proportions that were somewhat awkward, with a long hood, short rear deck, and a low roofline that seemed at odds with the car's overall bulk. This imbalance in proportions gave the car an oversized and slightly ungainly appearance, which was out of step with the more streamlined and integrated designs that were starting to emerge in the early 1950s. The 1953 Mercury Monterey was powered by a 255 cubic inch, 4.2-liter flathead V8 engine, producing around 125 horsepower. This engine provided adequate performance for a car of its size, but it was not particularly advanced or powerful compared to some of its competitors. The Monterey convertible was available with the Merco-Matic automatic transmission, which added to the car's ease of use and appealed to luxury buyers. This was a common feature in mid-century American cars, emphasizing comfort over sporty performance. The Monterey convertible was designed to offer a smooth and comfortable ride, with a well-appointed interior and a suspension tuned for comfort. However, its heavy and bulky design made it less agile and more cumbersome to drive compared to lighter, more streamlined cars. The Monterey convertible's bulky and awkward appearance received mixed reactions from the public and critics. While some appreciated its flashy chrome details and luxurious features, others found its proportions and heavy look unappealing. The car's design was polarizing, making it a less popular choice in the marketplace. The design elements of the 1953 Monterey convertible did not have a lasting impact on automotive design. As the 1950s progressed, car designs became sleeker and more streamlined, moving away from the bulky and chrome-laden aesthetic of the Monterey. Today, the 1953 Mercury Monterey convertible is of interest to collectors who appreciate its unique design and its place in the history of mid-century American cars. Its unusual appearance makes it a distinctive and memorable vehicle, even if it was not universally loved when new. The Monterey convertible's large and imposing design, with its high beltline and wide body, gave it a bulky and heavy look that was out of step with the emerging trend toward more streamlined and elegant car designs. The car's extensive chrome detailing, while flashy, added to its heavy and somewhat gaudy appearance. The combination of excessive chrome with the car's already substantial proportions made it look over the top and slightly odd. The car's awkward proportions, with its long hood, short rear, and low roofline, gave it an unbalanced and oversized appearance. This design made the car stand out, but not necessarily in a positive way, contributing to its reputation as an unusual and quirky vehicle.